The night before the wedding, my brother's fiancée looked at me and said just one thing: take me with you. I was the twin brother crossed off the guest list, and in that moment we left, not to run away, but to finally live true to ourselves.
My name is Noah. I live in a quiet small town in Vermont, where winters stretch longer than my family's conversations. My home isn't wealthy, nor remarkable, but one thing makes it unforgettable: me and Ethan, my twin brother. Ethan and I were once inseparable halves. We shared everything: birthday cakes, tests, even the creaky bunk bed in high school. But that was a long time ago. Things started changing when Ethan went to college, and I didn't. I stayed in Vermont, working at a nearby woodshop. Ethan went to Boston, quickly succeeding, doing marketing for a big media company. I was proud of him, truly. But gradually, the physical distance became an emotional one too. He came home last Thanksgiving, bringing Lily. She had honey blonde hair, bright eyes, and a smile that silenced the room. I knew I was smitten, but I said nothing. I was the brother, and Ethan was her choice. A few months later, I heard they got engaged. I was happy for them. I'm not the petty type. Though my heart stung a bit, I told myself, as long as Ethan's happy, I'll be fine. But then, early this spring, a message from Ethan hit me like March ice. Hey Noah, hope you're not mad. We had to limit the guest list. The wedding's just for closest family and friends. Hope you understand. Sending love and a big hug. I read it 3 times. Then 4. Then lost count. Closest family, huh? I'm his twin. I trekked through snowy fields to get him home when his bike chain broke. I forged his signature to cover a bad grade. I sat by him all night when he crumbled after his first breakup. Yet now I'm just off the list. I called Mom. She answered instantly, voice chipper. Noah dear, what's wrong? I tried staying calm. Ethan didn't invite me to his wedding. A long pause. Then she sighed, like I was a whining kid. Oh honey, don't make a fuss. It's just a party. Everyone sacrifices a little. I gripped the phone. I'm his brother. His twin. Not some cousin from Nebraska. Mom laughed. The kind that makes you feel foolish for being hurt. You're too sensitive. Always have been. That's what set me off. I'd always been the one to yield. I always stepped back, letting Ethan shine. But this time, I couldn't. I hung up, then opened my laptop. If I wasn't welcome at my brother's wedding, I'd go somewhere else, where I wasn't the odd one out. A place with sunshine, wine, blue seas, and no pitying glances from anyone. After a few hours, I booked a flight to Italy. Not just a trip, a statement. If I'm not valued in this family, I'll create my own worth. I didn't know what awaited me, but I knew one thing. I wouldn't stay here, sidelined, watching my brother say, I do, while I'm erased from every photo. And I never expected that the one joining me on that trip would be Lily. I don't know what I expected when I decided to leave Vermont. Honestly, I didn't think I had it in me to follow through. My whole life, I'd lived in Ethan's shadow, and I was used to enduring. But this was the first time I said enough. Flight booked. Took leave from the woodshop. Passport, luggage, reservations, all set. I told no one. Not because I feared they'd stop me, but because I owed them no explanation anymore. The night before departure, as I sat in the kitchen, sipping cheap whiskey and listening to rain tap the old wooden roof, there was a knock. I opened the door, and there was Lily, soaked from rain, shivering slightly, carrying a cream-colored suitcase. Can we talk? She asked, eyes glimmering under the dim hallway light. I froze, confused. She shouldn't be here. She should be picking a wedding dress, doing her hair, taking pre-wedding photos, right? I stepped aside, letting her in. Lily stood in my kitchen, cozy, simple, the opposite of the modern apartment she shared with Ethan. Water dripped from her coat onto the wood floor. I handed her a towel and poured her hot tea. We sat across from each other, silent for a long while. Finally, Lily spoke. You're not going to the wedding, are you? I laughed, unable to hide the bitterness. Well, hard to attend when you're not invited. Lily looked at me for a long time, then said something I never expected. I don't think. Ethan was right to do that. I looked up, silent. I argued with him, asked why he cut you out. And Ethan said, you didn't fit the image he wanted for the wedding. That hit like a knife. I clenched my jaw. Image? Meaning I'm not pretty enough for photos. No. Lily shook her head, voice sad. Ethan, he's changed, Noah. He wants everything professional, perfect. And He sees you as a part he doesn't want to remember. My chest felt heavy, not from surprise, but because part of me always knew. Ethan had shed the past to move forward. And me, stuck with those old memories, I was what he needed to hide. Lily looked at me, eyes brimming. I couldn't ignore this. It's not right. Not fair. You're too big a part of his past. And of me too. I stared at her. So what are you going to do? She smiled faintly, trembling. I don't want to go to that wedding anymore. I want to go to Italy with you. I was speechless. She didn't say it on impulse. She'd brought her suitcase. She'd knocked on my door in the rain. She'd chosen. And it wasn't Ethan. I exhaled slowly. Lily, are you sure? This will change everything. I know, she replied. And I don't want to keep living pretending everything's fine. I nodded. The flight left at 6 a.m. 2 people, one cast aside, one daring to stop, would leave this small town in silence before the family realized what they were losing. We reached Burlington Airport early. It was still dim, thin mist clinging to the taxi's glass. Lily sat beside me, quiet. She wore a gray sweater, hair tied neatly, clutching a small bag. No makeup, no wedding dress, no sweet wedding music. Just the sound of heartbeats, slow but heavy. I glanced at her for a long moment, then turned to the window. Everything was so fast, so sudden. Yesterday, I only meant to leave it all behind. Ditch that wedding, ditch the hurt. And now, Lily was beside me, choosing to leave with me. As the plane taxied, Lily turned, asking softly, "Do you think we'll regret this?" I answered, eyes forward. Maybe, but at least, if we regret, we won't be alone in it. Lily smiled, the first since she stepped into my house last night. Not radiant, not showy, but calm, gentle. The flight took over 8 hours. We connected in New York, then flew straight to Florence, a city bathed in golden sun and wine's aroma. The whole way, we didn't talk much. But that silence wasn't heavy at all. I thought I'd feel guilty. But the farther we flew from Vermont, the lighter I felt. For the first time, I wasn't compared to Ethan. I wasn't the flawed copy. I was just Noah, a man starting a journey without a map. Lily fell asleep mid-flight. I looked at her, face tilted aside, lashes fluttering slightly. I noticed a tiny scar under her chin, invisible unless you looked closely. I'd thought her perfect, but that scar made her real. When we landed in Florence, sunlight poured through the window, waking Lily. She rubbed her eyes, looked at me, and I nodded lightly. We're here. Stepping out of the airport, a warm breeze brushed our skin. The ancient city unfolded before us, red-tiled buildings, cobblestone streets, and the scent of fresh-baked bread in the air. Florence welcomed us with all the tenderness Vermont never had. We took a taxi to the hotel, a quaint spot tucked in the old quarter. Our room, on the 3rd floor, had a balcony overlooking the piazza. Lily stood there, hands on the railing, eyes quietly watching passers-by. I said nothing. I just stood behind, silently watching a woman trying to find herself again. That evening, we went out. Not a date, just 2 people wandering together. We ate pasta at a small family trattoria, where the owner cooked while singing old songs. Lily laughed when I butchered the dish's pronunciation. I feigned offense. Then we both burst out laughing, the first laugh since it all began. After dinner, we walked along the Arno River. Lanterns hung on both sides, reflecting on the water, shimmering and dreamlike as an unfinished reverie. Lily suddenly stopped, looking at me. "Have you ever wished you weren't Ethan's twin?" I froze. A strange, but fitting, question. "Yes," I admitted. "Many times. Because being the twin of someone perfect always makes you feel like the flawed version." Lily nodded, eyes distant. "I used to think Ethan was my dream. But it turns out, sometimes it's the flawed versions that make you feel safe." Her words lingered. I didn't dare read too much into them. But that night, back in the room, she didn't ask to sleep apart. She just walked in, shed her coat, lay on her side, and whispered, "It's not love. It's not escape. It's just, I need a place where I don't have to pretend." I understood, and I lay beside her. No touching, no ambiguity, just 2 people, both needing a bit of peace. Out there, somewhere, Ethan was probably toasting. The family was likely whispering about Lily's disappearance. Messages, calls, maybe blowing up my phone, demanding what happened. But here, in Florence's heart, I didn't need to hear anyone anymore. The next morning, I woke not to an alarm but to fresh coffee's scent and sunlight through white curtains. Lily sat on the balcony, wrapped in a thin shawl, hair mussed at the nape, one hand holding an espresso, the other a book in Italian she surely couldn't read. I watched her a long time. Maybe because the scene was so peaceful it made me forget why we were really here. When I picked up my phone, just to check the time, the screen showed nearly 80 unread messages. From Mom, Ethan, Aunt Cheryl, even my ex-girlfriend, who I don't know why she's poking in. I scrolled through quickly. Noah, call me now. This isn't the time to sulk. Do you know Lily's gone? Ethan's freaking out. What the hell are you doing? We can explain if you come back. I laughed. For the first time in years, they couldn't control me with silence or expectations. For the first time, they were the ones left without answers. I set the phone face down. Lily turned, raising an eyebrow. Let me guess. Ethan's losing it. The whole family. I replied, pouring coffee. Mom says call back now. Ethan, not one apology. Just yelling, demanding, wanting me back. Lily pursed her lips, eyes softening. He never asked how I felt. Not once. We sat there, quiet a while longer. No need to say it aloud, but we both knew. Relationships built on demands and expectations aren't family, they're chains. That noon, we visited a local market. Lily bought a lavender-embroidered handkerchief. I got a bottle of local red wine, the kind the vendor said, drink it sad. It comforts. Drink it happy. You'll never forget. While waiting to pay, Lily looked at me, half joking. What are we to everyone back home? Villains? Wreckers? I shrugged. They can call us that. But they never called me family when they crossed me off the list. Lily nodded, eyes tinged with sadness. Though she tried to be strong, I knew she bore the sting of judgment from those she once called future in-laws. That evening, we sat by the Arno, the red wine bottle between two glimmering glasses in the sunset. Couples passed by, kids played with balloons, an old man strummed a mandolin. It was beautiful to the point of aching. Lily poured wine for me, then herself. She looked up, asking, do you think Ethan ever loved me? I paused, not because it was hard to answer, but because it was too real. Finally, I said, I think Ethan loved being admired. You're smart, beautiful, kind. You made him feel important. And me? Lily asked, voice soft. Did I ever love him? I looked at her. Couldn't answer for her. But I saw honesty in those eyes, and lostness too. You thought you loved the Ethan you imagined. But the real Ethan, cold, controlling, sometimes cruel. I added quietly, and now you're here, with his brother. Lily laughed. A sad but brave laugh. Yeah, I'm not looking for a replacement. I just chose someone who doesn't make me apologize for being me. I raised my glass, clinking hers. Then here's to the first time we live for ourselves, not for anyone else. We drank together. The wine's warmth blended with Italy's cool breeze, easing every cut in my heart. Back home, my phone buzzed again. But I didn't answer. Not tonight. Because tonight, I wasn't the other one. I was the one chosen. The next morning, as I returned from a short walk through cobblestone alleys, I saw Lily at the table, back to me. She didn't turn when I opened the door. Sunlight through the window made her phone gleam, like it had just woken from a dream or a nightmare. I approached gently. Up early. Lily didn't look at me. She just held up the screen. A message. From Ethan. Lily, I know I messed up, but you can't vanish like this. Can we talk? I love you. I still want to marry you. I stared at the words. The first feeling wasn't anger, but fear. Not of Ethan, but that Lily might return. Not for love, but from guilt. For the man she was to marry. For herself too. Lily met my eyes for the first time in nearly 10 silent minutes. Her voice was faint, like wind brushing glass. He never apologized before. Never. Ethan hates admitting he's wrong. I nodded, sitting across from her. So what will you do? I asked. Lily bit her lip. She turned the phone in her hands, eyes wavering. I don't know. Part of me feels this is what I once wanted. An apology. A chance to fix things. I looked at her long. No blame. No judgment. Just, if Lily went back, I'd understand. But it would hurt. It would be a loss. If you go back, I won't hold you, I said, voice slow. But you need to ask, are you returning for him, or from fear of being seen as a traitor? Lily closed her eyes briefly, then opened them, shaking her head. Noah, I don't want to go back. Not now. Not like this. I'm scared I'm using you as an escape. I clenched my fist lightly. Her words hit the deepest part I'd tried to hide. I feared that. Feared I was just the guy there at the right time. Not chosen from the heart, but clung to when everything fell apart. I stood, walking to the balcony, looked down at the city waking up. Church bells rang faintly. Lily came behind me. Her hand rested on my shoulder, light as mist. I don't know what we are, but I know this. For the first time in years, I can breathe, live slowly, be myself. I turned to her. Then don't let the past pull you back. Ethan chose to overlook his brother. What do you choose? Lily was silent. And then, like a period to the silence, her phone buzzed again. A call from my mom. I looked at the screen. Anger buried long ago rose in my throat. Don't answer, I said. Noah, she hesitated. She's not calling to check on you. She's calling to put you back in place. You're not a doll in a wedding dress, smiling for photos. You're someone who knows how to stand up. Lily looked at me, tears welling, not from pain, but relief. She hit decline. That afternoon, we rented a tandem bike, riding along the river. Wind played through her hair. Lily laughed aloud when I nearly crashed into a lamppost. She wrapped her arms around my waist, whispering, "If this is a dream, I don't want to wake up." I didn't reply, because I feared the opposite, that this was a high. And one day, waking up, I'd be left with just the echo of a getaway. But I didn't say that. I just pedaled faster, letting her laugh ring a little longer. We returned to the room as dusk fell. Lily was putting away her scarf when her phone rang again. Not Mom. Not friends. Ethan. His name glowed on the screen like an unhealed wound scratched open. Lily looked at me. I said nothing. She answered. I couldn't hear his first words clearly, but her face told enough. Ethan's voice wasn't like usual. Not cold, not angry, not proud, but tired, disordered, desperate. Where are you, Lily? I can't sleep. I'm going crazy with worry. You vanished, right before the wedding. Silence. Mom's crying. She blames me. Says I pushed you away. Is that true? Lily gripped the table's edge. I saw her lips tremble faintly. Ethan, her voice broke. You're not the only reason I left. I'm at fault too. I stayed silent too long. I looked away. Didn't want to see, to hear, but couldn't leave. Ethan went on. I know I screwed up, but you can't disappear and go gallivanting with my brother. You think our family can handle that? You think Mom will forgive you? Lily froze. Then Ethan softened, whispering, I still love you, Lily. If you come back, I'll forgive everything. My heart tightened, not from fear of losing her, but from realizing Ethan was still Ethan, still using love as a bargaining chip, still thinking forgiveness was his to grant. Lily didn't answer right away, but the tear falling to the floor spoke for her. Finally, she whispered, Forgiveness isn't yours to hold or give, Ethan. I don't need forgiving. I need to live true. Then she hung up. Silence engulfed the room. I stepped forward, meaning to hold her. But Lily stepped back half a pace. Noah, if I stay with you, is it because I truly want to, or because I'm scared to go back? I don't know anymore, she murmured. I'm so tired. I nodded. Then you don't need to decide anything tonight. Don't need to choose anyone. Just choose you. She looked at me, eyes red, then turned, walked to the bed, lay on her side, facing away. I lay on the sofa, didn't sleep, just stared at the ceiling, and wondered, is there a limit to forgiveness when the one you care for still looks elsewhere? The next morning, Lily wasn't in the room. I jolted up, panicked. On the table was a handwritten note. I need a day to myself. Don't worry. I'll be back. Just one line. Brief. But it left a void like a hole in my chest. I waited. 1 hour. 2. Then 3. By noon, I left the hotel, scouring the piazza, the streets where we'd laughed, taken photos, held hands. No Lily. By afternoon, I sat alone at the tavern where we'd clinked glasses that first day. The owner recognized me, asking, Where's that lovely girl from before? I forced a smile. She's finding herself. He nodded, pouring me a drink. Everyone gets lost once. Near midnight, Lily returned. Hair messy, eyes swollen, but her shoulders light as air. She walked in, sat beside me, said nothing, just held my hand. Do you believe in fate? She asked, voice hoarse. I didn't, I replied. But now, I think sometimes fate doesn't lead you to the right place. It just pushes you away from where you don't belong. Lily nodded. Then, I'm not going back. I'm staying, not for you, for me, but if you still want. I hope we can continue this journey together. I gripped her hand tighter. No more words needed. Florence didn't need witnesses. We'd heard enough to know. Real love doesn't need to win over anyone. Just not lose yourself. Things could have been peaceful, at least for a few days. Lily and I stopped talking about going back or what we are. We just lived. Each day, with slow steps, with touches needing no promises. Until one morning, as I sat in the hotel lobby reading, waiting for Lily, the glass door opened, and Ethan walked in. He wore a white shirt, gray jeans, black sneakers. Hair slightly messy, face more gaunt than I recalled. But his eyes, still those eyes, cold, controlling, sharp as a blade. I stood up. He approached, stopping an arm's length away. No words. No punch. No hug. No smile. Just asked, "Where's Lily?" I didn't answer right away. I studied that face, so like mine, yet so different. She's getting ready. Probably coming down soon. Ethan nodded, then sat across from me. Like, this was a normal catch-up. Why? He asked, after a minute's silence. Why what? Why did you take her away? I laughed a dry laugh. You forgot already? I was the one cut from the wedding. I just planned a trip. She knocked on my door. I didn't make anyone follow me. Ethan stayed quiet, eyes narrowing. Do you know what they're saying? Local papers ran. Groom abandoned, bride missing, brother gone with fiancé. Mom's breaking down. The whole clan's trashing your name. And now, they're calling you the thief too. I clenched my fists. Thief, huh? I only took back something you never valued. Ethan slammed the table, making the coffee cup rattle. She's my fiancé, Noah. Not someone you can just drag off like that. Then Lily walked in. No makeup, no dazzling dress. Just Lily, hair tied high, white shirt, simple trousers. But her eyes, this time, steady, fearless. Ethan, she said, voice calm. Ethan stood. The whole lobby seemed to hush. Just the three of us, and 1,000 unsaid things. Are you okay? Ethan asked. Yes, Lily replied. For the first time in years, I'm okay. He swallowed. I saw his throat twitch. I came to bring you home. No need. Lily shook her head. I don't belong to that wedding anymore. Ethan looked at her, disbelieving. He gave a faint laugh, like someone losing patience. We're engaged. You think it's that simple? You think running off with my brother solves anything? It's not solving. It's choosing, she replied. And I've chosen. Ethan stepped closer, voice low. You'll regret this. Lily met his gaze, unflinching. Maybe, but at least, I won't regret not daring to live true. Ethan turned to me. And you? How will you live when everyone thinks you stole your brother's fiancé? I stepped forward, meeting his eyes. I'll live free. For the first time, not as your shadow. No one said more. Finally, Ethan shoved his hands into his coat pockets. Turned away. But before leaving the hotel, he paused. Congrats, Noah. You didn't just take my girl. You took the spot I never thought you could have. And then he left. The glass door closed behind him. Lily and I stood there, silent. A moment later, she turned to me. You still okay? I looked outside. Florence still bustling, still sunny, still smelling of coffee and bread. But in me, something had just collapsed. I nodded softly. Yeah, because I know. This time, we didn't run. We just refused to be shadows. It took just 3 days. 3 days after Ethan showed up and returned to America, local social media exploded. Someone had snapped us in Florence, hand in hand, smiling genuinely. A post appeared on a cousin's Facebook. Don't be fooled by looks. The one who stole the bride isn't a stranger, but his own brother. I didn't care, but Lily did. She sat through breakfast that morning, not eating, not speaking, just staring at her phone. I knew she was reading all they said about her. They call me ungrateful, bad girl, traitor, Lily whispered. An aunt even messaged, you're breaking your mother's heart. I placed a hand on her shoulder. Lily, if you want to turn off the phone for a bit, or go somewhere else, I'll come with. She shook her head. No, I'm done hiding. I've hidden enough. But when her phone buzzed again, this time her dad calling, Lily froze. She didn't answer. But then, a message came. Come home. We need to talk. Your mom cried all night. You can't live like there's no consequence. That afternoon, we went to a small eatery by the river. The mood was heavy. Both Lily and I knew. The peaceful time was nearly over. Are you going back to see them? I asked. Lily nodded. Yes. Not to apologize, but to say clearly, I don't belong to a family that picks image over real happiness. I held her hand. I'll come with you. No, Noah. She looked at me, eyes gentle. This is something I have to do alone. But if I don't return to Florence, no, it's not because I chose Ethan or regretted this. I pressed my lips, not wanting to accept, but not stopping her. 3 days later, Lily left Florence. Not back to Ethan, but straight to her family's small town. I saw her off at the airport, watching her pass security, with a steady gaze, though her shoulders still trembled slightly. I stayed. Each day, I visited the old tavern, sipped one espresso, then strolled the piazza. I didn't know how long Lily would take. I only knew I'd wait, not because I feared losing her, but because I believed she'd find her way back. And then, one early morning, as I slept, the phone rang. Unknown number. I answered, voice groggy. Hello. It was Lily, but not as I expected. Her voice shook, choked, like she'd just cried. Can you come get me? I sat up. What happened? A pause. They held a family dinner, but it was an intervention. With a pastor, relatives, Ethan's close friends. They said you blinded me, that I need to pray and atone. I clenched my fist. Lily, where are you? The train station. I brought nothing. I just ran out. I didn't need to hear more. An hour later, I stood at the small station. And when Lily stepped out, I saw she truly had no luggage, but her eyes carried a storm. And this time, she didn't cry. I opened the car door. She got in. No words. We just looked at each other. I took her hand, this time not to comfort, but to confirm, you've made your choice. That evening, back in Florence, we dined on the hotel balcony. Wine, soft lights, distant music. I used to think I was weak, Lily said. But it turns out, I just hadn't met someone who'd stand by me without needing me to be perfect. I looked at her, smiling faintly. I used to think I was just a shadow. But maybe, I just hadn't met someone bright enough to see the real me. Lily raised her glass. Then, to us, two people never chosen, but who chose each other. I clinked mine with hers. The wine warmed. The breeze cooled. And the smile was real. No need to hide from anyone. We stayed in Florence another week. Not from fear of going home, but because we weren't ready to leave the place that saw us live true for the first time. Florence stopped being an escape. It became a beginning. Lily grew brighter. She slept deeper, laughed more, sometimes humming softly in the bathroom. I didn't ask about the future. I just lived each day, each moment with her, like my whole life before was just waiting to reach here. One morning, as I sipped coffee on the balcony, the front desk called. Mr. Noah? There's a letter for you. No sender listed, but from America. I went down to get it. A thick envelope, familiar handwriting. I knew immediately, Ethan's. I didn't open it right away. I brought it back, set it on the table. Lily looked at me, asking softly, are you going to read it? I nodded, opening it. Inside was a handwritten letter, over a page long. Ethan's script still firm, slightly slanted right. I took a deep breath and read. Noah, I guess you didn't expect anything more from me. But I'm writing not to ask forgiveness, or to beg Lily back, but to end things properly, just once. When you and Lily left, I was furious. Mad as hell. I felt betrayed, robbed, humiliated. But then I realized, what was stolen wasn't love. It was my illusion of control. I never loved Lily truly. I loved owning her, standing beside her to prove myself. But you were different. You didn't try to claim her. You gave her a way out. And so, though it's hard to say, I know, you're the one who deserves her. I used to see you as the flawed copy. The shadow. The one forever on my life's edges. Now I see. The only shadow was what I built to hide my own emptiness. Noah, you don't need to forgive me. I'm not asking. But if you read this far, thank you. Thank you for proving. Sometimes, to be good, you need the courage to stop staying silent. Wishing you both happiness. Ethan. I folded the letter. Said nothing. Lily came over, sat beside me. You okay? She asked. I nodded. Yeah. For the first time, Ethan didn't act like he's right. And for the first time, I don't feel smaller than him. We sat quietly together a while. The next day, Lily and I left Florence. Not back to Vermont, nor anywhere lavish. We chose Portland, a small city in Oregon, where no one knew us, no judging eyes, no one calling Lily the runaway bride, or me the thief. We rented a small third-floor apartment, with a balcony overlooking the street. I got a job back in a woodshop, and Lily, started painting again. Each morning, we woke early, drank coffee, walked together to the corner bakery. Each night, we cooked, played soft jazz, and slept in each other's arms. Not to escape the world, but to build a new one. One evening, as we sorted books, Lily pulled me to sit. "Do you think we should end this story?" I frowned. "End?" She smiled. "Not the love, but all the old fears. All the things that made us ashamed to live true. All the propriety others forced on us." I nodded, then went to the room, got Ethan's letter. I placed it on a porcelain dish, lit a match, burned it. The fire wasn't fierce, just bright enough, like the past had been cleansed. Lily leaned on my shoulder, whispering, "So it's done." I watched the small flame die out, and for the first time, I no longer felt like the one left off the list. I was the one choosing to write my own story. A wedding only needs two people. We lived in Portland nearly a year. Life wasn't glamorous. No parties, no wedding photos hung everywhere. We didn't hold any debut ceremony. Not from fear, but because no one mattered enough to need proving anything to anymore. I worked wood by day. Lily taught painting at night to kids at the city library. Weekends, we went to the coast, picked seashells, ran under Oregon's drizzle. We still argued about coffee's taste, folding blankets, who forgot to turn off the bathroom light. But then we'd hug, laughing together. One September afternoon, Lily was baking when I stood in the kitchen, watching her back, hair loosely tied, wearing my oversized gray sweater she always stole. I suddenly said, "How about we get married?" She turned, slightly surprised. "For real?" I nodded. "Not for papers, but because I want to call you home. Ring or no ring, you already are. But with one, I can brag a bit easier." Lily laughed. She came over, wrapped her arms around my neck, chin on my shoulder. "Then, I'm in. But our wedding's just us two. No gown, no pricey rings, no invites. Just a sunny day and honest vows." We did exactly that. Chose a green hill overlooking the valley behind the city. Bought 2 hot coffees, a bunch of wildflowers, and 2 simple silver rings. Neither of us gave a speech. We just looked into each other's eyes, each saying one line. I said, "Thank you for choosing me, when the world never did." She replied, "Thank you for staying, when I almost lost faith in myself." We kissed. Light breeze. High sky. No applause. But in my heart, it was the loudest wedding I'd ever known. A week later, Ethan sent his first text since the letter. Short. "Heard you got married. Congrats, Noah. Sincerely." I didn't reply. Not from hate, but because I didn't need to anymore. I no longer needed his approval. I didn't need a seat of honor. I didn't need to stand beside to prop anyone up. I was myself, and someone chose me, not because they had no one else, but because they wanted me. Some nights, we lay listening to rain on the wooden roof. Lily turned, asking, "If you'd been invited to that wedding, would things have changed?" I thought a moment, then shook my head. No, because what needed to change wasn't the guest list. It was how we treated ourselves. Lily smiled, resting her head on my chest. "I used to feel abandoned. Now I know. Sometimes being cut from someone else's story is how you start writing your own." I kissed her hair softly. And I knew, after everything, our story didn't begin with love, but with a refusal. But from that, we learned to choose each other, not from duty, not from pressure, but for 2 words, right person.